Welcome to Land Speed Legends, a podcast talking to the men, the women, the legends that make land speed racing great. Discover the stories of these ordinary people whose passion for land speed racing has made them legendary. And now, here's your host, the Bonneville Belle, the High Boy Honey, the Salt Princess, Allison Volk-Dean.
So today with me, I have the legendary Frank Silva.
Not legendary.
Yes.
Not legendary.
Legendary in his own mind.
No, not at all.
So
Very, very humbled and very excited and happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for doing an interview with me. And yes, you are humble and it's good. So, but we were talking kind of about your beginning racing, how you kind of started out just with other types of motorsport racing. What was it?
Yeah, I mean, I was raised around cars and hot rods and cool stuff. My dad was always into, everything like that. And so we used to go and watch a lot of dirt oval stuff when I was a kid. I rode dirt bikes my whole life. My daughters all ride dirt bikes. So I'm trying to pass it on a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would say we got, my dad came to Bonneville in 1970, 7 years before I was born. He got actually hooked up with a car out here that it was a double engine streamliner, really fast back in the day, called Motion One. And so he followed that and helped them. And then when I was born, he stopped going. So I totally understand that and everything. But when I was probably 17 or 18 or something like that, we actually came out here, met his longtime buddy John Springer out here, and he brought me to the Salt for the first time, and we got to come out here and watch the cars run. We just spectated.
And how old were you?
Probably 17, 18 or something like that. Okay. Yeah. So did that, and then it was a year or two later, we met a guy, Bob Igo, had a Roadster. So we started coming out here and helping him, with that, and then Dad got to take a couple rides in that car. And then he and John had just been talking this, along the whole time. And they were like, man, we got to get something and come out here. So Mike Cook, who is a longtime friend, knew of a car that was right around the corner in the neighborhood in Norco. And he took us over to it, and we just fell in love with it. Dad and John bought the car and put a motor together and came out here. We all got to drive it and have a lot of fun.
What was the car?
It was the original Got Salt Lakester. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one that was sold to Lynn Goodfellow. Yeah. So he bought it, and then I think he put a diesel in it, got straight into the club after we had that car for, I think good 5 or 6 years of trying. Yeah.
What were you guys running in that? What class?
We had a bunch of different engine packages. We were kind of using it just to kind of get our feet wet in land speed racing. And we didn't get really serious until John knew some folks and Dad knew some folks, and they put us in touch with Ross Ireland, who is a partner in our Got Salt 2 Lakester, the one that we currently run now. And Ross was with us for the whole time with Dad in the car driving from 2005 to 17. Ross stayed with us and supported us and put the engine in the car. And I mean, he's the one that really helped us succeed.
And so you and your dad and John built this one. What was the class that you're running in this?
So the class that we're currently, I'll back up. The class that Dad drove was AA blown gas Lakester.
Wow. That's fast.
It was. So, and I think Dick Clark, Clark Liggett Hull, I think they had the record for a little bit, and it kept bumping up. So it was like 315, and then it went to I don't know, maybe it's 311, 315. But anyways, we came out here and we tried for 6 years with my dad trying to break this record. And Ross finally goes, hey, we got to enclose the back of the car.
Okay.
So we did that. Dad and John did that. And the next year we came out, Dad qualified at 324 and then backed it up the next morning at 327 and then 324. So his record is still in the book, which is super special.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2012, Dad got the record in 11. 2012, it's time for Ross to get in the car, and we're trying hard to see if we can get him in the club. So, but he from 12 to 17, the courses were just really rough.
Mm-hmm.
So our in-car footage, poor Ross just looked like he was in an off-road truck. By the way, we transitioned from gas to fuel in 12. So now we're AA blown fuel Lakester, which was a Strasbourg record of 337. And then I think they bumped it to 44.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, yeah, we tried for 6 years with Ross driving, and he did a phenomenal job. He actually got our car faster going than Dad even had it on gas. But we were just really beat up by the courses. So in 17, we had a malfunction with the engine and ended up doing a little body damage and stuff. And so Ross said, "Hey, I'm done."
Okay.
So along with that was our engine. So I had this really cool car sitting in my shop. And my dad had passed away in 13. And so I had been waiting for, several years. I've been dreaming about driving this bitchin' car.
Yeah.
And going out there on the Salt Flats.
Because you haven't gotten in the club at this point.
No.
Yeah. So you're wanting to.
Well, I mean, it was honestly, I wanted to just drive it, get some seat time and scatter Dad's ashes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I was thinking like, man, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, so, and my crew chief and good buddy, Brandon Carter, he calls me one day. I'm at work. I'm at the fire department. And all of a sudden, he calls me up and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "I just got off the phone with Ross. He's got the engine and he kind of wants to get rid of it, So long story short, we got the Arius back. It was in need of repair. But we put it together. We had enough spare parts, and our whole goal, again, this is 2020 now, COVID year.
Yeah.
So SCTA is somehow figuring out how to get us a meet. And he, so we get the car out here, and our goal is just, hey, seat time, and let's scatter Dad's ashes.
Yeah.
So, and we got, we start licensing up. And there were some comical things that happened in the licensing process, but it was unbelievable. I mean, the Salt, as you know, that year was like concrete and smooth and flat and fast. And so, I mean, it was just, we had a fairy tale year. Long story short, we made 8 passes. These are the very first time I'm in the car under power. And I mean, we hit every mark on our licensing runs. And then we got to a point to where we finally got signed off for our 300 license, unlimited. And Lee goes, hey man, take it to the 5. You can go as fast as you want to go. Well, in our minds, we had just barely run 304, 307 or something like that. And so but this was the first time we were actually going to go under power all the way to the 5.
And just really quick, what's the record at this?
The record's a Strasbourg record.
It's the same Strasbourg record. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm at the same.
Yeah,
okay.
344. And the fastest our car's ever been before this is 330, 332 or something like that when Ross was driving. So it's, again, nowhere near it's not on my radar. So by licensing run number 6, we go 3-0 something. They sign us off. They go for it. And we were just thinking, hey, let's see if we can see a 315 or a 320. Well, I don't have a speedometer.
Yeah.
All I have is my tack. And so I'm going, and man, his car feels good. And I'm feeling confident. I call it the pucker factor. I never once had that car move, shimmy, nothing. It just felt great. So I look down at the 4 mile and I see 7,400 RPMs, and I know my number is like 7,300. And so I carry it out, and I mean, I click that thing at the flags, at the 5 mile marker, click it out, shoot off, pull over, and the safety guy comes up and he goes, hey, that was a good run. I go, how fast? He goes, I think 351. And I go, I mean, I shot out of that car. I can't even tell you. No way. And I found out later, my guys, they're hearing Slim, say the times over the radio. And so they're doing 90 in my truck, flipping out. We've got great truck footage of that. But yeah, so it was phenomenal. With 351 on the qualifier,
nice,
355 on the backup, with a 363 exit on a alcohol-only powered, no nitro, 540-inch Arius. I got to give a shout out to my friend Justin Arias and his dad Nick, and his grandpa Nick III.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys They had tears in their eyes just like we did.
Oh, so sweet.
It was just emotional. It was emotional for me. I'm getting to do things with my dad's hot rod. We're out here scattering his ashes. We're out here driving his car. And now we're in this realm of, we just set a record. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 years now, and I swear I still have to pinch myself. And I take this thing out, I take my hat off. If this is a dream, man, I'm going to be bummed when I wake up.
Put that blue hat on. It's not a dream.
No,
you got it.
It is so special. Our team has worked so hard, and it's been, a couple of 6-year stints. And for us to not have the ambition of trying to break a 344 mile an hour record by the Strasburg family, that's a prominent drag racing family. I mean, Steve Peterson's been a longtime friend of our family. He tuned our car all the years that Dad's been driving, and then even when Ross was driving, and he did for me too. But for 2020, I'm at his shop. I go, dude, you got to show me how to adjust the valves. I've never adjusted a valve in my life. So I literally, on my red toolbox, I have written down, the steps of what I need to do and when to check the exhaust and when to check the intake and all of that stuff. So we built the motor with Steve Peterson in his shop in Elk Grove. And that was a special moment too, because that's kind of the first time I've actually done that from start to finish. And then we came out here, and again, we're tuning it. We're messing with stuff here and there, but we didn't have to do much. I mean, that thing was just set, and it ran phenomenal. And we had Dennis Allen's a drag racer friend of ours, and he's standing there and it was when we were thinking about maybe trying to go that little over 300 mile an hour. He goes, well, Frank, what do you want to do? You want to take fuel away, or do you want to give it a little more blower? And I go, Dennis, you're the guy I asked that question to.
So what did he say?
I think we ended up leaving the fuel right where it was at. I think we went down on a blower pulley, and it, like I said, it just went out there and ran phenomenal.
That's awesome. And so what was this? Because there was a stint. Well, how many years was it in between when
it was sitting at the house?
Yeah. So did it, after your dad died, did it just sit at the house?
When Dad died in July of 13, and we were at the Salt in August of 13, which was hard but special, and everything all rolled into one. So, and that was when Ross got in.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Ross was in 12. In 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And we tried really hard.
Okay.
And
then there was that 3-year stint of 17 to 20.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you came out and you killed it.
It came out, and we just had this, like my buddy Brandon calls it, the fairy tale year. I mean, it was just, again, unexpected, so appreciated. That's the one thing that I've really grown to love, though, since whether we've had a car out here or not, is the community, the family. That's what's so special. Like, we can be out here with all of this rain and wet feet, and we're everybody's trying their best. I got this little fun meter thing on that goes down sometimes, but then when you sit there and all of a sudden you start hanging out with some of your friends and talking, the fun meter goes back up.
We got the racers stayed to race. So, and it's fun. It's so enjoyable once we started racing. I was so excited.
I absolutely love it. I've been able to be fortunate enough. I'm married and I have 3 daughters, and my middle daughter, last year, I was going to bring her up here just so she could hang out with me the whole time. 'Cause out of my girls, she's the ones that she's always asked, Dad, I want to go. So she came out again with me this year and helped me sell some shirts, and so I'm hopeful that we can go make a pass tomorrow. We're thinking about doing a little shakedown pass, and so this will be really special because none of my girls, including my wife, has been able to see our car. Well, maybe my wife has, but none of my daughters have been able to see the car go.
Oh, really? And you driving?
Yeah.
Okay, and so tell us. You have this car out. You got a brand new engine in it.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's going on with the...
Man, I got, another just big connection and big shout out to Hunter Self, J&S East Valley Garage down in Santa Barbara. He's the guy that does the engine. Well, he's done the engine for Arlie Langlow's Streamliner, Startigone 417. He's just a phenomenal guy, phenomenal engine builder. And he and I just clicked. I mean, so... and I think in 2021, we just got to talking, and it was it was a really good match. I think it was a good timing and stuff. So our aspirations are to see if we can get him licensed up in our car, and then whatever entails after that will be up to him, however fast he wants to go. And he and his wife, Jessie, and stuff, they got to kind of talk about that depending on how fast they want to go. But anyways, yeah, we want to get him in the car. And then along with that, when we met and started talking about a possible different engine situation, because we kind of felt like we had the Arius in its kind of peak. I mean, you know, and again, we were elated with that thing. But we, after talking with Hunter, he says, "Hey, I can put something together." So, yeah, we now have an A motor in it. It's a 496 Brad Anderson. And it's got a big blower on it, and it's running on some nitro. Which is new to us. So yeah, I mean, for all the intent purposes, that's why we're gonna want to do a shakedown pass. We want to see if we can get some good data and stuff. But yeah, huge shout out to him, his buddy Brian Hawkins, which has been his right hand guy on the Langlo team, and his guys back at the shop down in Santa Barbara, Tommy and Anthony. I mean, I was down there a week prepping this thing just to get it up here for this week, which was awesome. I mean, Jess and Hunter let me stay at their place. And so it was really cool. Like, we needed some, hey man, can you machine this? He'd run in there, boop, boop, boop. He brings it right back out,
nice.
Puts it on the car. Hey, we need to re-weld this. We need to do that. So, it was great time spent. We made him an official partner in our car. So now it's Silva, Springer, and Self.
Nice.
And, yeah. So
the three S's.
The three S's. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited. He's super pumped. We're pumped. And so, yeah, again, we'll give it a try tomorrow and see if we can give it a good shakedown pass. But again, it's another Strasburg record.
I know. I kind of wish I would have talked to you tomorrow after you make your shakedown pass to see what it's like. I'll have
that's another,
throw in a comment after.
That's another big number. It's that record is now 373. So we know it's not easy. But we think it's attainable. So,
and Hunter's going to go after that one, maybe, or you are.
So we're starting out with me driving.
You're going to try to go for that record, or just do the shakedown?
No, I'll be the one going for that record.
Okay.
Our whole plan was if we got to the Salt and we didn't have a 350 mile an hour course, that we would put him in it and start licensing him up, and then again wherever that goes, that goes. So, yeah. But I think for shakedown and stuff like that, we're going to have me in the car.
Yeah, cool. So, well, tell me about what John's role is in the other S. You told me the one S, Self. Now Springer. Tell me that S. What does he do?
Springer just packs the chutes.
That's a tough job.
I could say that because he's sitting in a chair staring at me right here. No, John's been partners in the Got Salt car, so he and I share everything from the chassis to the trans to the bodywork to anything that's non-engine.
Okay.
He and I have, we split all that. It's been the same situation with him and Dad. And I'm so thankful that I have him, because it's an expensive thing to do. I mean, we only run once a year, but I will say this. I mean, I definitely have reaped the benefits of all the work that, when we set our record in 20, I'm reaping the benefits of everything that was done pre me getting in the car. I mean, Ross was a very mathematical guy, and if it didn't make mathematical sense, it just didn't get done to the car. So everything to that car, from the weight distribution to we took it to the Darko wind tunnel, all of that stuff, all Ross. And I mean, and Dad and John.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah. But John and I have been, after Dad passed away, we looked at each other, and I think we both had the aspiration of, hey, we're not going to stop racing. Dad wouldn't want that. So we were like, okay, let's do this. So we've been able to keep the car going and keep Ross in the seat, and then I got to get back into it. So I think we're all super happy that we could just keep bringing this thing out here. We love the car, and we love the people out here, and it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And we do reap the benefits of those who went before us, or those who have done some of the hard work. I mean, some of us that are second generation,
Yeah.
definitely reap the benefits of those prior to us, I think. So, well, what are some of, when you came out here, you came out here a little bit later, you weren't really young. What were some of the things when you were a spectator, right? You first spectated.
Yeah.
What were, do you remember any car that really spoke to you?
I mean, it still speaks to me. It gives me chills. But the first one was Altique.
Yes.
100%. I mean, when my dad and John were like, hey, watch this car. And then I distinctly remember the shifts. And they had such a long pause that you were like, did he shut down? And then you would hear that thing grab another gear, and you were like, holy, I mean, it gives me goosebumps. But yeah, I mean, the Danny Boy Apples was out there. We love that family. And then fast forward a few years, and Birkeland's came out with that beautiful orange streamliner, and we just fell in love with, Betty and Tom and Jean. And I mean, they were just such a fun family. And I mean, I think the thing that I remember my dad talking about, I was just telling my daughter, was my dad used to say, you can hear the cars before you see them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was so cool. Same thing.
Those are the
big
good ones.
motors like Al's, the big motors like that was in Birkeland's car. You would hear that dang thing, and then all of a sudden here it comes, and you're just like, holy cow, you just, again, fell in love with it. You know? So
now, what is something that you think that your dad, if you were going to ask your dad something that was most memorable to him from the salt, what do you think really spoke to him?
Well, I think his 2011 year was really special.
That's the year he got in the club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because again, it was after 6 years and of trying really, really hard. And then 4 of those years, maybe 5, he was starting to get sick. So every year that we left here without a record, I was always like, oh man, I hope he's strong enough to come back next year.
Yeah, I kind of felt like a countdown a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And by God's grace, he was able to, and he remained strong. And, again, it was Ross was the one that was like, hey, according to my calculations,
we should be able to do this.
We need to pull that wing out of the air, and we need to streamline this thing. And the next year we came out and Dad went fast. And I'm telling you, it was so emotional and the best thing ever for our team. It was perfect. So yeah, I would think that would be his favorite. But I believe that he's in heaven. I believe that he saw every step of it. In 2020, I had his memorial sticker in my in my canopy with me, and so I think, I'm sure that was very emotional as well.
So were you doing your just licensing run when you had his ashes, you're going to release them? I'm curious about this because I don't know. Were you doing it on your licensing runs, or were you just doing it just on one special run?
No. So we, again, not knowing if we didn't want to be overzealous and think, hey, let's wait till 300. So I think we let him go at 185 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was one of the first couple runs. Okay. My very, very, very first run, I got to say it just because it shows the huge, silliness. But in our steering wheel, we put the shift buttons, and inboard of that, we put the parachutes. So shift once, shift twice, parachute 1, parachute 2, and inboard of that. Well, the very, very first time I'm getting ready, these guys are pushing me off. I'm watching the RPMs go up, and I go to shift, and I reach too far over, and I pop the parachute.
Oh.
So that was my first mistake.
Darn it.
But so I'm sorry.
We were talking about your dad. Was your dad in the parachute when you?
Oh yeah.
You made that mistake.
So no, not on that one, but the second one, one we did, we let him out at 185.
Okay.
And then we packed him again when we knew we were going to be around 300.
Oh, cool.
So we gave him another ride there. So, but I think it was that first one that was probably the most emotional.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, I'm going, man, I'm glad that car was slowing down because I couldn't see through my tears.
Oh yeah, I bet you that was. That was be hard and emotional.
Yeah.
Plus, just all the anxiety of driving on top of that.
I'll tell you what, I had now rewind to 2 months before we're ready to leave Fresno to come out here to do all of this. I'm like, hey, I should probably get in the car and get strapped in with my helmet and see how that feels. Well, I didn't realize it, but I go to put my dad's fire suit on. He had a one-piece fire suit, and I'm a little bit bigger than my dad. So I go to put my tennis shoe on, and this thing starts binding. It's riding up my behind, and it's pulling down. I'm like, boy, this isn't going to work. So then we're like, hey, we'll make it work. Whatever. I put my helmet on Han's device, and Brandon shoehorns me into the car, shoves me in the car. Well, I get back there. And again, I've been in that car 100 times with a ball cap on, but never with Han's device, helmet, and then all of the padding that, keeps your helmet close. And I'm realizing, I'm like, ooh, this is weird. So I come shooting out of the car, and my buddy looks at me, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I go, that doesn't feel good. So long story short, I had a little claustrophobia moment where I was sitting there, and this is 2 months before we're getting ready to leave. And I thought, well, crud, Brandon's been over at my house numerous times late at night wrenching on this thing. And now we're finding out that this is happening. So it was good because I had to retrain my mind to appreciate, hey, every other race car driver in the world wants to feel tight. They want to feel snug and at one in that car. So I just got to retrain my brain to appreciate that. So I bought a new fire suit.
You flipped the script there. You did a good job. That's good.
Yeah. I bought a new fire suit and just started sitting in the car. And then I would put my helmet on. I would sit back, and I would just sit there and just, hey, this is comfortable. This is fine. I even had my wife come out and pull the seatbelts on me. But then I didn't know, is this going to go all over again when I'm on the starting line? And when these guys got here and we had the car on the salt, and I'm like getting ready to get in the car. I'm getting emotional right now because I'm like, guys, we're here. Can you believe this? This is insane. So Brandon's belting me in, and he keeps checking, are you okay? And I'm like, dude, I am so good. I can't even tell you. I feel amazing right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good advice, though, for somebody who might be, having that problem, just to go and sit in it and just keep training your brain to think that this is a good thing. Like, this is fun. Yeah.
The claustrophobia issue is real. I've talked to a lot of people, and I especially with canopy cars or enclosed cars, it just feels, restrictive. But yeah, I think it's just taking your time, retraining your brain. And luckily we were able, that little month and a half, 2 months, we were able to get comfortable. So that was a huge blessing, because I don't know what we were going to do if we get out here and Frankie freak out, can't get strapped in the car.
Everyone's like, oh, geez. Yeah. No, you did it, though. You killed it, and you got there, and you got your blue hat.
Yeah. It's been just an honor to be part of the 200 mile an hour club. The history that goes back in that. And I've since been asked to be on the board, which haven't been able to do a whole lot yet. I'm looking forward to the banquet tonight to wear my shirt and help out,
sit up front.
Help out where I can. But I can't thank the SCTA enough, and Bill Lattin and Heather Black and everybody and all the people that have been, they work so hard. Again, they got us a race in the height of COVID.
Yeah.
And now they're out here working. I can't even tell you how hard. I just know it's way hard.
Yeah.
And we got cars going, and we're going to probably get another mile tomorrow. And so I can't thank them enough. Save the Salt, 200 mile an hour club, and just everybody, man, friends and family. We've had a tremendous amount of support throughout this whole, thing. And so, we're excited. So
I'm excited to see what your car does. I'll keep it updated when I post this on the Facebook page about what you ended up doing. Yeah. So hopefully you'll be getting a record this week. Yeah, maybe. You think you're going to go for a record?
We're not necessarily. No, our mindset is not there. We just want to get some good. If we can get a good 2 or 3 passes in, and get some good data.
You want some data?
That I think is fine for us. I don't want to do anything to. Again, I want to go home. I want to be safe. I want to bring this car back when the conditions are much better than where we're at right now.
Yep. Well, Frank, thank you so much for this fun interview. Please go to savethesalt.org and donate by buying some merchandise. Also, don't forget to go to my Instagram and Facebook pages under Land Speed Legends. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening to Land Speed Legends. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, keep up with the show on Facebook and Instagram under Land Speed Legends. Until next time.